The return of Jack Smith, the Jack Smith from the Black Lagoon. That means political garbage from Jack Smith. I'm John Mike Keane. Here's CNN. We're going to just dismantle CNN today. This is going to be a little long, a little legal, but get on the roller coaster, guys. Strap in. We're going for a ride. Here's CNN. Here, ex-Nixon White House. Since when has CNN been into the Nixon White House? Oh, when he's trying to lie about Jack Smith and make him sound legit. Ex-Nixon White House counsel's reaction to new indictment against Donald Trump by hack Jack Smith.
Straight from the source tonight, the Supreme Court may have granted Donald Trump sweeping immunity protections last month, but he is not off the hook for allegedly attempting to overthrow the 2020 election.
You see it, and he's not off the hook. That's already biased, guys. That's one way of putting it. Another way of putting it is he's innocent till proven guilty, and he's going to be tried. They won't use that language there. Oh, he's not off the hook. We're going to get him.
This 36-page superseding indictment from special counsel Jack Smith is clearly evidence of that.
Clearly evidence of that. No, it's smoke and mirrors, but that's showing your bias. She goes, Jack Smith, she's getting turned on by this. She's getting sweaty. That or she's going through menopause. Jack Smith's 34-page indictment tells you nothing. So it doesn't prove anything. It's not a demonstration of anything. I'm going to dismantle the bias in this news segment.
The special counsel getting a new grand jury to hand up the indictment, one that had not previously heard evidence in this case. Smith's team charging the former president with the exact same charges initially brought against him, though this indictment did have to be reworked to comply with the ruling.
It's the exact same charges, but different. It's the same charges, but different. Did you hear that?
Same charges initially brought against him, though this indictment did have to be reworked to comply with the ruling.
It had to be reworked to comply with the ruling. It had to be reworked to comply with the Constitution. Hairdo.
Smith specifically makes reference to that. The Supreme Court ruled Trump can claim immunity from prosecution for some of his official actions while in office. So prosecutors have now cut language about Trump's interactions with government officials and added language to describe when he was acting as a candidate and not president. And as you might imagine, Donald Trump is fuming about all of this, claiming it as an attempt to interfere with the 2024 election, while also falsely and baselessly claiming Vice President Harris is actively behind it.
Of course, it's a claim to interfere with the election because Jack Smith tried to expedite all this stuff. That's why he rushed into error, and now he's trying to fix it because this was unconstitutional. Now he's trying to rethread that needle. Here's Donald Trump on the subject of blaming it on Kamala Harris and Biden, which I believe he's right to do. It is DOJ policy that Department of Justice should not take any action that will influence an election within 60 days of that election, which is clear. This is election interference, but they just have taken such action. Voting starts on September 6th. Therefore, the DOJ has violated its own policy. That's Merrick Garland. Election interference, all of these comrade Kamala / Biden hoaxes should be immediately dismissed. Well said, future President Trump.
And he goes on to accuse her of weaponizing the system against her political opponent, which she is not doing.
Now, that is a lie. There's no way that this news spokeshole can make that claim that Kamala Harris is not weaponizing the system and is not doing something. You cannot prove a universal negative. She cannot know the intent of Harris unless she had a personal conversation with her. And given what the Biden administration and Harris administration have lied about, like Bidenomics works, like the southern border is secure, why can't they also be a liar on this? There's nothing that says that it is proven or absolute that Kamala Harris is not using this for political benefit. This is CNN bias. This is how they do it, guys. It's subtle, but it's there. It's all over the place, and it always only goes one way.
So, Pam, a lot of what's in the new indictment is actually the same as what's in the first indictment. However, the new indictment, we call it a superseding indictment, makes some crucial changes.
It's the same. However, you can ignore everything he says before, however.
So first of all, here's what's been removed from the first indictment. First of all, any allegation relating to Donald Trump's efforts to pressure the Justice Department. A central theme of the first indictment was that Trump leaned on DOJ, tried to get them to substantiate his false claims of voter fraud. That is out now.
So the central theme of the original indictment is gone. And they're like, but it's the same. The central theme is completely different. It was removed because it was extra constitutional. But now it's the same.
Second of all, some other Trump communications with White House advisors. The Supreme Court had said those are probably immune. Jack Smith has now removed many of them from the case.
He removed them because his advisors, he has a sacred pact with according to our law. So to make it constitutional, they had to remove it. This was not just, oh, Jack kind of tried something, he went fishing. No, his entire case was revolving around stuff that he did not have the constitutional right to access.
And third, I found this really interesting. The first indictment refers to Donald Trump as the 45th president of the United States. The new indictment returned today actually does not call him that. All it says is he was a candidate for office. They're not trying to insult him. They're trying to shift the focus from things he did as president to things he did as a candidate in his unofficial capacity.
This is the name changing is significant too, because before they were trying to indict the President Trump to show how bad of a president he is. And now the narrative has changed and they're trying to show how bad of a candidate he is. He's a dangerous candidate. But these are all three nothings. This thing is still not going to go anywhere.
Now, a couple important things have been added to the case. So first of all, there is now explicit mention in the indictment that Donald Trump had no role certifying state elections and he had no role in overseeing presidential electors, because a key part of the case that remains is this false electors scheme.
Yeah, he had no role in it. And if he has no role in it, he can't have influence over Mike Pence's decision to go with the old rule of electors. In fact, Mike Pence disobeying Trump proves Trump didn't try to exercise authority. He didn't have it. It didn't work.
And finally, the new indictment adds an allegation that congressional staffers took the physical paper electoral certificates out of the chamber on January 6th. And that's a response to a separate Supreme Court ruling that said there has to be some element of document fraud or document tampering in order to be obstruction. So I think Jack Smith is trying to now work within that ruling as well.
It's a stretch, because we don't know motive on why they moved those documents. They could have been moving it to keep them safe from the rioters, for all we know.
All right, so John, to bring you in, the Supreme Court's immunity ruling, how much do you think this indictment has been weakened in Jack Smith's case against Trump?
Okay, and this is another way that they do their bias. She was fed this question by him. How has this case been weakened, she asked. He told her, because his answer is going to be, oh, it hasn't been weakened, it's been strengthened. This is something they colluded on. This is a question. The reason why I know this is because this airhead would never ask this question. Too specific, too on the nose, too predictive of this guy's answer. Now listen to the answer that we all know he's going to say.
I don't believe it's been weakened at all. In fact, if anything, given the immunity ruling, it's been strengthened. It can go through.
Oh, big shocker. That's why they had ex-Nixon counsel on, so he could just say that. They wouldn't have had him on if he came out with a different opinion. That's how CNN bias works.
Obviously, it's going to be litigated at the district court level, which is the lowest court, before Judge Chutkan.
Chutkan, Obama appointee. I'm sure that'll go really well. Give us a comment below if you like me to cover this kind of stuff. And John Mike Keene will cover it for you. I'm JMK.